The early morning air smelled of fresh coffee and diesel fuel outside Maggie's Diner, a 24-hour truck stop on the outskirts of Indianapolis. It was the kind of place where the scent of frying bacon mixed with the grease from truck engines, where long-haul drivers found comfort in a warm meal and a friendly smile. That morning, Linda Carter, a 28-year-old waitress with a heart of gold and a past filled with hardships, was working the breakfast shift. She had been slinging coffee in plates of eggs for years, but something about this morning felt different. And then, he walked in. An elderly trucker, maybe in his late 70s, shuffled to the counter. His name tag, still pinned to his faded denim jacket, read Charlie. His face was weathered, his hands rough from decades on the road. Linda noticed his limp, the way his fingers trembled as he reached for the menu. She smiled. "Morning, sweetheart. What can I getcha?" Charlie lifted tired eyes. "Just a coffee, darlin'. Black." Linda frowned. "No breakfast. You look like you could use a hot meal." He hesitated. "Money's tight. Gotta make it to St. Louis by noon." Linda didn't hesitate. "On the house." Charlie tried to refuse, but Linda had already placed an order with the cook. "One trucker's special, extra bacon," she called. Charlie's eyes welled up. "You don't have to do that." Linda shrugged. "You all keep America running. Least I can do." As he ate, Linda noticed his breathing was labored, his grip on the fork weak. She'd seen this before. Her own father had been a trucker before passing away from a heart attack behind the wheel. Something was wrong. "Charlie, you okay?" she asked. His lips moved, but no sound came out. Suddenly, he clutched his chest, his face twisting in pain. Linda leaped into action. "Somebody call 911, she shouted, catching Charlie as he slid off the stool. A customer fumbled for his phone, while Linda dropped to her knees, pressing her hands to Charlie's chest. She knew CPR, her dad had taught her. She started chest compressions, her hands pushing against his frail frame. "Stay with me, Charlie," she cried. Minutes passed like hours until paramedics burst in. They took over, shocking Charlie's heart back to life before loading him onto a stretcher. As they wheeled him out, one of the EMTs turned to Linda. "You saved his life." She wiped her brow, her hands shaking. "Just did what anyone would do." But she had no idea what was about to happen next. Word spread faster than wildfire. A trucker at the counter had filmed the whole thing and posted it online. Within an hour, the video had gone viral. Thousands of truckers across the country saw the story, a waitress saving one of their own. And they responded. By noon, the street outside Maggie's Diner was no longer just a road. It was a sea of big rigs. Chrome gleamed in the sunlight as truckers from across the state and beyond parked their 18-wheelers along the highway. Linda, still shaken from the morning's events, stepped outside and gasped. Hundreds of truckers stood silently, some with hats over their hearts, others holding signs. "Thank you, Linda. Truckers never forget. You saved one of our own." A deep rumble filled the air as one by one, they blasted their horns in salute, a sound that echoed for miles. Tears streamed down Linda's face. She had simply done what felt right, never expecting anything in return. But to these truckers, she had done something extraordinary. The local news arrived first, then the national networks. Interviews, headlines, and even a call from the governor followed. But Linda didn't care about the attention. She only cared about one thing, Charlie. The next day, she visited him at the hospital. He was awake, smiling weakly as she walked in. "Hey there, hero," he croaked. She laughed. "Hero? Nah, just a waitress who cares." Charlie squeezed her hand. "You did more than serve breakfast. You gave an old trucker another chance." And with that, Linda knew, sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness could create the biggest waves. And in this case, those waves came in the form of 500 roaring engines, a sea of chrome, and the unwavering brotherhood of America's truckers.